Hi everyone, welcome to your first telling time video. This is your Understanding 1 lesson, and today we're going to look at what we need to know to get to a stage where we can tell time to the minute. When we are looking at telling time, we're going to be looking mostly at analog clocks, and here's an example of an analog clock, but we'll also be looking at some digital time as well. The most important thing that we need to know though first is the features of this clock. So looking at this example of our analog clock here, of course the clock starts with 12 at the top, counts round in order to 11. And there's 3 hands on a clock. We have a second hand, an hour hand, and a minute hand. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at what those hands of the clock mean. Okay, so the 3 hands of the clock have each a different job, and they each do a different thing. So we need to make sure we can figure out which hand is which so that we're not getting confused. The easiest way to figure out what hand is the second, the minute, or the hour hand is to look at their size and their shape. Here I've put them in 3 different colours, but on all clocks they're not always in different colours. Sometimes they can all be the same colour, so you have to look at the shapes. The second hand we can figure out is the second hand because it is the smallest hand, the skinniest, and it looks a bit like this one here, the black one. See how it's much thinner than the other two? And the second hand will kind of point towards the numbers here but not go all the way through. The minute hand is our longest hand. It comes the furthest out. It's longer than our hour hand, so if you see, if I move them next to each other here, our minute hand is that bit longer. And it points kind of through the numbers. You can see it's pointing through the number 4, and it's looking at these lines behind the number 4 there. And we'll talk about what they are in a minute, so they point through. And the last hand, the hour hand, the blue one there, points pretty much directly to these numbers. It doesn't go through like the minute hand, it just points to the numbers. And it is our kind of thickest hand, but it is shorter than the minute hand. Some clocks might not have a second hand, they might just have a minute and an hour hand, but it's important to know which hand is which. Alright, let's take a closer look at our seconds hand on a clock. What we need to know when we are working with time is that there is 60 seconds in 1 minute when it comes to time, and I'm going to use my black seconds hand here to show you how that works. Okay, so for the start of every minute, our seconds hand, which is the black line, starts facing up at the 12. That's where it always begins for the start of each minute. And it starts to move to the right. Now when we say it moves to the right, and you might hear people say clockwise direction, that's because our hands always move in the direction going right. Our second hand ticks, ticks, ticks all the way around the clock. It goes past every number, comes all the way back up to the top, and when it reaches the 12 again, that has been 60 seconds. And we know that there's 60 seconds in 1 minute, so when it does one whole lap, the seconds hand, that has been 1 minute. If I bring this little clock over here, it will show you. If we put it in the right spot, it starts up here at 0, and the second hand ticks past all these little numbers. And if you count the whole way around, you'll see that it takes up to 59, back up to 60 when it does one whole lap, the seconds hand. So when that seconds hand, the black hand, has gone the whole way around, that has been 1 minute. But hold on, because we have a minutes hand as well, and that is, for this example, the red hand here. Once the seconds hand has gone the whole way around, then it has made 60 seconds and it has made 1 minute. So once the black hand has gone the whole way around, the red minutes hand, which is the longer, skinnier hand, this one here, will move 1 minute. And it will just tick over like that. Our seconds hand would do another 60 seconds again, and because there's 60 seconds in 1 minute, our minutes hand would move another minute again. Tick. Our black seconds hand would go around again, and when it has done 1 lap of 60 seconds, our minute hand moves again. Tick. So, before our minute hand can move, 60 seconds must go by. For our red, long, skinny minute hand to get the whole way around our clock, it takes quite a while. It takes 60 minutes, and that would be, 60 minutes would be 1 hour. So again, if I move over our little clock here and I put it in the right spot, every time that our minute hand moves, every time that our minute hand moves around, it has been 1 minute, and it will take it all these minutes, 30 minutes down to the bottom, and then 30 minutes back up to 60 there, so a total of 60 minutes, and that will make 1 hour. When our minutes hand, this one here, has ticked the whole way around and it has done a full circle, our minutes hand, that's when it would make 1 hour. So if my hour hand is starting here, pointing towards the 6, and my minutes hand moves the whole way around the circle, doing 60 minutes, 1 hour, then my hour hand would now be moving towards the 7. So it takes a whole lap of the minute hands before the hour hand moves on. Now it would take 12 hours for our hour hand to move the whole way around the clock, and that would be half of our day, because we know that there are 24 hours in one day, and our hour hand would go around one whole time during the day and then one whole time during the night. Okay, so what we really need to remember is the 3 different kinds of hands that we can have on our clocks: a minute hand, a second hand, and an hour hand. And most importantly, we need to remember that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute, there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, and there are 24 hours in one day. And if we can remember that, then that's going to help us to tell the time a lot more quickly and more effectively. Great work today, guys. Well done, and off you go to practice your activities.